first did?
That's what I love about these high school girls, man. I get older, they stay the same age.
Honey!
What?
Where's my super suit? Assemble.
What's up, YouTube? This is your friend, the neighborhood movie nerd, back to give you guys everything that is going on in the world of movies and TV. So, as you guys know, we're all stuck. We're all quarantined. There's no new movies out. The world is coming to an end. We're all bored. It's just such a fun time to be alive right now. But hey, nothing says quelling your misery of the real world like escaping into random BS YouTube top 10s. And that's exactly what I'm here to give you guys more of. This time, we're gonna do another topic that I've been wanting to do for a while now, that being the top 10 scene-stealing characters in TV shows. These are the characters that, yeah, shows have main characters, certain shows are ensemble shows with a lot of characters involved, but these are always the one standouts in each one of their shows that you end up watching the show for. Again, a whole lot of variety involved here as to the types of scene-stealing supporting characters, so sit back and enjoy my personal top 10 favorite scene-stealing characters in TV shows. Kramer from Seinfeld, and I mean...
Sorry, there's just no way that we could keep you on.
I don't even really work here.
That's what makes this so difficult.
Do I even need to say any more about this character that has already been said? Larry David based this guy off of a guy who was living across from him in LA, and just everything about this character is so perfect on every single different level.
I'm a H.E. Pennypacker. I'm a wealthy American industrialist looking to open a silver mine in the mountains of Peru.
Seinfeld is already a show about quirky, narcissistic characters who kind of just react to the world around them. But the thing that makes that allows for Kramer to constantly steal every single scene that he appears in is just his nutso mannerisms, his complete just aloofness to the world and societal constructs.
Because you're not a dermatologist. Oh, but he thinks I am, and I'm not going to betray that trust.
Just everything about this character screams that the minute that he walks into a room, you're like, okay, I want to find out more about that guy.
Focus group. It's your party.
And that's before we've even gotten into any one of the numerous harebrained schemes that he's tried to pull over the years. Put this in perspective, this is the only TV character I think I've ever seen that's gotten beat up for not wearing a cancer ribbon at a Walk for Cancer Foundation just because he didn't feel like it. Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Now, this isn't the character that most people would think of when it comes to these two shows. Most people's first go-tos would either be the character of Saul in Breaking Bad or Gus Fring, but I go with Mike because I feel like Mike is the guy who brings kind of that third level of badassness to Vince Gilligan's Breaking Bad world that I feel like is rather necessary. Because up until this point, we've really only seen Walt kind of dealing with low-level guys, but at the end of season 2, kind of beginning of season 3, that's when he starts to really get into this world of super high-up drug dealers. But Mike is a new level in the sense of where he really just seems like this guy that really has seen it all and has that extra level of knowledge that will always put him a step ahead of everybody in the game. And he proves it time and time again.
No!
Proving himself to be not only super capable, but just one of the most badass characters like ever created in TV. So much so that it's almost kind of a shock when he dies in the way that he does, and just at the very least, he gets a second lease on life as Better Call Saul proves to not only be kind of a Saul origin story, but also a Mike origin story, and it's pretty great just to watch the two of them back in action. James Cook from Skins. He was one of the characters that popped up in the second generation of Skins that aired in 2009 and 10, which is what I like to call Effie's generation. And now Effie may be the main character, but the minute that this guy Cook, portrayed brilliantly by Jack O'Connell, pops up onto the scene, oh man, you almost don't care about any one of the other characters. And these are still like very interesting characters. I'm Cook. Like, I feel like the biggest thing Skins has going against it is every time they bring in a new batch of characters, you're like, okay, how are they going to measure up to the previous batch? And the second generation did a really, really good job of kind of establishing themselves as this own generation apart from the first generation. But Cook, like, there's just something about O'Connell's performance, just the amount of just raw and completely impassioned like insecurity that just goes into that form of a teenage performance. And Cook is already established as like being a pretty unlikable and despicable character. He easily does the most amount of drugs and drinks the most. He sleeps with every single girl he possibly gets the chance with. He regularly screws over his friends if ever he gets the chance. But he is so goddamn entertaining, so damn likable, and and once you find out about his backstory and origin at the end of season 1, you just end up feeling for that character so much.
I never fucking wanted you in the first place.
He almost kind of comes off as like a younger Andy Serkis in a way, if that makes any sense. And yeah, he easily becomes probably not only just the scene stealer for the entire series, but honestly quite possibly the best character that the show has put forth. Bronn from Game of Thrones. Again, another character that is just known for those witty one-liners, and oh man, do they only get better.
Pay me to kill people who bother you.
You don't fight with honor.
No. He did.
Here we have Bronn, son of...
You wouldn't know him.
I think probably another one of the many reasons why the last season of Game of Thrones sucked so hard is just because they realized, oh wow, we've kept Bronn alive this entire time and we have nothing to do with him. But yeah, Bronn was always a guy, he was one of the few characters throughout the first season of Game of Thrones that were kind of slowly and subtly informing you on kind of, you know, how this world really works. I feel like the other big character in that season was the Hound, and I feel like that's one of the two reasons why those two characters are still so well loved after so many years of their run on that show. And while the Hound was definitely the more tragic character, I go with Bronn because at the end of the day, there's just so much blood and guts and misery on the show that at the end of the day, sometimes you just need somebody to crack up at. And Bronn proved that time and time again.
Between fucking Lawless and fighting the Mountain, you'd have your britches down and your cock up before I could blink.
But also besides that, besides constantly claiming to be this awful, awful person, he really is just like a regular guy at the end of the day. And sometimes that's exactly what you need. Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother. Needless to say, How I Met Your Mother is the Friends of the 2000s, and that it was a very well-beloved cult show at the time that has not aged well at all. But the one thing I will say that I think that How I Met Your Mother does definitively have over Friends is the horn dog single best friend character.
That 83% of people married longer than 6 months are seeing someone on the side.
Because while Joey comes off as a lovable idiot, Barney kind of evolved from just being this singular character to almost kind of like being an entity.
I'll take her until she's 40, and then you can have her after that. That left hand? Right hand sucks? Word. Easy, but I can't. You are such a loser.
Like, this is a TV character that they took his ideas, like about the playbook and the bro code, and published them as actual books. Like, there's characters with an endless amount of quotes, and then there's Barney.
Come on, Lily, don't hate the player, hate the game. Daddy's home. Like the universe was saying, hey, Barney, there's this dude, he's pretty cool, but it's your job to make him awesome.
The other thing, too, that I think that How I Met Your Mother kind of didn't do as well as Friends is Friends very much based itself in the ensemble. Yeah, you had Ross and Rachel as kind of your key two lead characters, but it really was about the chemistry between all 6 of them. I wouldn't necessarily have stated any one of them was the main character. How I Met Your Mother, on the other hand, Ted was definitively the main character from the beginning, and I'm not going to say that Josh Radnor did a bad job, but Ted is easily the least likable or interesting character out of that entire batch, and his constant just complaining about like, oh, will I find the one, ended up really getting annoying, especially with how much longer that season started to go on. And unfortunately, How I Met Your Mother, I don't think did the character work to really back up Marshall, Lily, or Robin in those first couple seasons. So for the first, to me at least, the first four seasons of that show, you're really watching it just for Barney.
That was you. I knew that was somebody I knew. Wait for it. Dairy. Problem. Hey, hey, hey.
Paulie from The Sopranos. I honestly think this might be my favorite character from the show. Obviously, yeah, James Gandolfini is Tony. Like, you're probably never ever gonna get a better TV performance than that. But oh my God, Paulie with the one-liners, just kind of the Italian-ness of it.
Could be him out there stalking us.
With what? His cock?
Put it this way, Paulie wasn't even originally supposed to be a character on the show, but David Chase liked Tony Sirico so much when he auditioned for Junior that he wrote the character of Paulie for him. And I don't think there's any other character on the show that will simultaneously make you disgusted by the mafia world and laugh as hard as you do whenever Paulie opens his mouth on the show. But other than that, he's another character that is like both, he is a despicable person who regularly treats his friends like shit, will not shut up, and constantly over-exercise his ego over other people, and once again take advantage of other civilians for monetary purposes. But he's also a super decent family guy at heart. He cares a lot about his mom. He looks at Tony's kids as his own kids. And again, I don't think there's a single moment, one-liner on the show that he has where he's not freaking hysterical.
It's like an ad for a fucking weight loss center. Before and way before.
Ron Swanson. And I hate that I have to pick one character out of the entire cast of Parks and Recreation, because by the time the third season of that show is over, it's almost a crime to single out any one character as stealing every single scene. Because to say that Ron is better than Tom, April, Andy, Chris, Jerry, Donna, like all of those guys have earned their pedestal as like being like some of the greatest characters that TV has ever given us. But there's just something about Ron's deadpan delivery and just constant interaction with the world that it's something that keeps him grounded as a character, but also kind of makes him the most larger-than-life character out of all of them. And this is already a cast filled with larger-than-life, over-the-top, rambunctious characters.
This just says I can do what I want.
I am the director of the Parks Department, and this is a park.
But yeah, every single statement that he makes, every single joke that he makes, just the origin of that character, in the sense that he's a character who works in government, who can't stand it, and so therefore works in there solely as a means to destabilize it. Russell Edgington from True Blood. And I'm not gonna lie, this is not a very good show, I don't think, but good God, talk about good, entertaining trash. I feel like this is the Ryan Murphy show before Ryan Murphy really became an entity, except, you know, it's way better because it's HBO. Put it this way, I'm still kind of fairly new to the idea, the phenomenon of enjoying villains more than heroes, but I feel like Russell is the character that put me over the edge. Because from the minute that this guy enters, not only is it a situation where it's just he steals every single scene that he's in, there is just, Denny O'Hare just puts so much excess malice and just fun into this performance. Like, it's a type of performance that's kind of akin to Tim Curry in anything that he's ever been in, or Glenn Close in 101 Dalmatians, where you can tell that the actor is just having so much fun with the role, and the role is already juicy enough to give them enough material to work with. But they add just that extra level of nuance and kind of flair to it that just makes them, like, the minute that they come on the screen, you just can't take your eyes off of them.
You should worry about you.
And Russell does that with every single scene that he's on screen. Like, he's just got that heavy southern drawl, and he's so charming, but he'll also kill you within a second if he feels that you're displeasing him. Snoop from The Wire. Now, I know, I can already hear the people screaming, why are you putting Snoop on here and not Omar? I'll explain why. It's because by the time season 3 starts, Omar is pretty much not only an established entity within the universe of The Wire and just, you know, the universe in general, but also he was pretty much on his own, and he really had his own tertiary storyline. Like, he wasn't necessarily supporting the cops, he was still going hard at whatever drug kingpin there was, but for the most part he had his own storyline that was kind of separate but also still entangled within everything else within the show. Snoop, on the other hand, never stops being a supporting player, and so I guess if anything, I feel like putting her on this list is kind of my way of giving her the respect that she deserves, because she is still easily one of my favorite characters from this entire show.
God damn, right? Too much fucking talking around here lately, man. Niggas need to shut the fuck up.
But again, it's another character similar to Russell, where it's kind of that combination of both their hilarious banter, their extremely interesting personality, and just the action and just no F's given about when it comes to needing to take people out. That kind of just solidifies her as one of the most interesting and terrifying characters in this entire show. Probably one of my favorite characters that I've ever seen on TV, and that is, of course, Ari Gold from Entourage. And
no indies, E. Think of it like the Holocaust. Never. Fuck the phones, Lloyd. Unless Carmen Electric calls for an emergency titty fuck. Don't.
I'm kind of just tempted to just make this segment just like a clip of every single amazing one-liner that he has on this show.
So much cum been squirted in those eyes you can't see what's right in front of your face.
Because again, he's kind of the epitome of all these characters on this list, which is where it's kind of a common weird thing where a few of them you watch the show for them completely, but I feel like Ari is number one because he is, after a certain point, like the boys and their shenanigans, yeah, that was fun. And yeah, Eric and Drama were both pretty funny in their respective rights. But after a while, their shenanigans kind of started to get repetitive. But actually watching Ari, who is pretty much responsible for making sure that their lives are like still, you know, running and making sure that Vince gets gigs and everything and all the shenanigans that he has to deal with behind the scenes, that combined with Piven's brilliant performance. Again, I talked about Barney's one-liners. Ari, it's one of those situations where every single time you hear his one-liners, you're both confused as to how good that one-liner is and how it works, but also, you're also confused as to how you're capable of forgetting it when you go back and rewatch it and are like, oh wait, these lines are fucking incredible.
Jesus Christ, you all suck. If I didn't have a 5-year lease on this place, I'd shut it down and work out of a cardboard box by myself.
Like I said, I don't think I can actually repeat any of them on here for sake of this video getting deleted on YouTube, but oh man, it's great. Ari's great.
All my files, pile everything you see into a box, everything. You see a used condom, an executioner's mask, and a goddamn spike paddle, don't think, just pack that bitch. Chop soon. That is what we call a bitch slap. A bitch slap for a bitch.
That's right.
I paid $2 grand for the seats. I'll get out there and launch a 3 if I want. That's awful.
And that was it. Those were my top 10 scene-stealing supporting characters from TV shows. What did you guys think? Did I miss any? I know I did, because you guys will hopefully leave them in the comments for this video. Leave the like, leave the subscribe. You guys know what to do for the rest. I have a podcast. It's called Talkin TV. It's on pretty much any platform where you can listen to podcasts. You guys should go listen to it. I think it's pretty good. And I'll see you guys next time.